In southwest England, a man killed 5 people, and he is a self-proclaimed incel. This has resulted in pretty much England now being on high alert with everything that they perceive to be incels, which also means that memes are now under heavy scrutiny. And some people have looked at these memes and just assumed that they're all associated to incel groups. That's the nuttiness here. It's a slight tinge of fear-mongering and jumping to conclusions. When you see this video will be determined by if I feel like sitting in front of a computer screen and editing for hours on end again until like 6 in the morning when I allow myself to sleep. Anyway, I woke up today, and of course, waking up for me is a never-ending hellish nightmare. It's gotten to the point of where my dreams are better than reality. Like, oh no, the world has been overrun with zombies. Oh my God. That world made more sense because nobody's being political. Everybody's just trying to survive. And it seemed more pleasant.
Hi everyone, my name is Bunny. I use bun pronouns. I identify as gender fey.
The reality. The incel movement is on the rise yet again. Oh God, help us all, the incels.
Your opinion towards women?
Like what I think of them?
Yes.
I do think they are very important, but...
Honestly, it just seems like people on the far left, sex workers, and anyone who's just shy of a few brain cells short of being stupid believes the incels are on the verge of taking over America or the world. And as we all know in today's world, men are terrible. They're horrible and they're bad. Unless they're Elliot Page. Then, men are great and it's inspiring. I was sent by Google an article on Elliot Page. The internet loses its mind over Elliot Page's abs. And I'm sitting there like, this is what an emaciated human being looks like. We're literally celebrating someone for looking like they escaped a camp. Okay, I said it. And we're all pretending that this is some sexy Adonis. God help us all, the media smokes crack.
Can parents look out for maybe language that they use, their young sons might be using,
telltale
or
signs,
behaviour that they might have?
Yes, they can. So there are lots of bits of language that might be red flags referring to people as normies or as triggered. Normies is the word incels use for people outside their community.
Uh-oh, if your son uses memes, it's a telltale sign he's an extremist. If your son has said based, you need to keep a journal of what he's doing and report him to the authorities the second you think he might do something horrible.
The calls are coming from inside the house. You must get out of the house.
How is it this person's on a show talking about memes she doesn't understand? Like, triggered, everybody uses that word. Normies, it's what everyone uses to describe anyone outside of any group. You don't know about Gunpla model kits? Uh-oh, the normies are here. Look out, they're all incels. Uh-oh, you don't know about the Raylo saga? The normies are here. They're probably not going to be considered incels because Raylos are all chicks, so they're femcels. But femcels are okay. In fact, femcels can go on Twitter and literally post the most hateful things about hating men, and they'll become trending tweets. But hell would freeze over long before you'll ever see a horrible tweet about women being promoted on Twitter.
Triggered, based, cucked.
Wait, what? Based is now considered a red flag.
Cuckold. A cuckold is a man whose wife is promiscuous to his face, and everybody knows it. But
Exactly.
and you play the cuckold.
I do play the cuckold. I've had a lot of success with this. Again, they feel like they see some real raw talent in me. I've been. Oh yeah. It's. I was just recognized for an award for best cuckold, and my wife is shaming me.
Now, who plays your wife?
Oh, my actual wife.
That's Debbie?
They could have called anyone on Reddit or on Twitter with a quarter of a brain cell to refute half of what she's saying.
Describing being red-pilled or black-pilled, which are words they use to describe being infiltrated into the ideology. And it's
Wrong. You don't even know the pill system. Get her the f out of here. Jesus Christ. Black-pilled at this point means you've seen all the horrible crap going on in the world and you now realize just it's nihilism, basically.
He believes in nothing.
He believes in nothing, Laborsky, nothing.
And tomorrow we come back and we cut off your Johnson.
The long and the short of it, red-pilled means you're aware of what's going on and you think you have an idea of how to fix things. But once you get the black pill, you realize we're screwed. Most people in Afghanistan are now getting a face full of black pills. And they're sitting there like nodding, oh, yes, of course. Yes, the young men are all animals. Except Elliot Page. He's a national treasure.
That they see this as a kind of conduit to other forms of extremism. It isn't completely separate from far-right, white nationalist, white supremacist movements. They actually...
Here we go again. If you've used a meme like Pepe the Frog, you're one step away from being Edward Norton in American History X. This feminist, Lily, decided to spend 18 months studying incels and doing it very poorly. Her conclusion of her thesis was that anyone using basically memes you see every day that everyone uses means that you're probably an incel. Her lack of understanding of the basic tropes that are here is actually interesting. The reply section of people who actually know what they're talking about point out the flaws in her thesis. The people who have no clue what she's talking about herald her as a hero. And as in all things that seem to go with feminism, grifting goes hand in hand. The patron saint of this was Anita Sarkeesian. If you work with young people, vulnerable people, or parents, and would like hard copies of this, I'll be turning into a small, easy to read pamphlet. DM me or email me with the quantity of pamphlets you'd like and where to send them. Ah, yes. At the end of the day, it's capitalism. Even though capitalism's bad, it's almost as bad as those goddamn incels and men. Oh, and the patriarchy. Basically, at one point, she says Pepe was a clear warning sign. She also said the phrase going ER is used by incels communities to reference an attack. Now, if she sees going ER and doesn't understand that most likely this was said in satire, because if that many people were going ER, there'd probably be a never-ending wave of attacks. But what are you gonna do? That will require critical thinking, and that's not what you need when you're trying to raise alarm bells in fear and also sell pamphlets. Dude, literally she says it's a terrorist threat. Puts incels up there with terrorist organizations. She also has a chart here at the bottom that shows the range of, I guess, terror alerts.
Jump to conclusions, Matt.
The pickup artistry. Some incels said this was their journey into radicalization. There you go. You wanted to learn how to kiss a girl. You're a f***ing radical piece of shit. Well, I started learning pickup art so I could talk to women, and then before I knew it, I joined Hezbollah. Men's rights. Yeah, because men don't deserve rights. Red pill and going your own way. Basically, MGTOW is, we're not going to bother with women. We want nothing to do with women. Most men in MGTOW are older, and they've been through a number of really bad relationships or divorces where they not only lost money, they lost custody of their kids and their right to see their kids. And basically, most MGTOW dudes will give you some good life advice on most occasions, the ones that aren't sitting there and saying, we don't need women anymore. They're going full monk mode. But you know how to avoid extreme people. It's like someone at a party, and he's like, hey, you want to smoke a little pot? And you're like, cool, so Mary J. Then another guy comes out and goes, you want to bang 7 grand rocks behind a dumpster at Wang's? And you're like, no, that's a little extreme for me. But anyway, yeah, most MGTOW dudes, they play instruments, they paint, they travel the country, and they offer advice to other men. Obviously, monsters, they're indoctrinating and grooming their children. Ideally, your friends, relatives, pupils wouldn't be anywhere on this scale. But if they are, catch them before they get here at the red pill. What do you want people to do? Imagine your buddy calls you and he's like, well, I'm divorced. My wife was cheating on me. She took the kids and my money. I'm done dating women. It's like, oh no, I have to call the police. You've been red pilled, Fred. Then after she basically says incels are a terrorist organization, she has another page that goes, what do we do now? And empathy is written up there. What, queen? You just literally said that they were terrorists. If you've seen incels before, any true self-proclaimed incel like the one on that Vice video, the only threat that guy poses to anything is like a Big Mac and fries. Let's see. Being red-pilled, waking up to the true female oppression, the myth that men are really oppressed.
It's just not true that for the same work, women earn 77 cents for every dollar a man earns. Factors such as college major, occupation, and length of time in the workplace explain most of the pay gap. And now researchers have discovered yet another factor contributing to that gap, encouraging overtime and workaholism. Here is the Clayman Institute for Gender Research at Stanford. It says, we need to redesign workplaces so that they are better aligned with the lives of the people who work in them. Well, yes, accommodations within reason make very good sense, until they say, quote, performance should no longer be measured by how many hours employees put in, end quote. This logic seems to be, if men and women, but especially men, were less hard driving, then men and women's pay would equalize, and we would all be happier and have a better work-life balance.
It's not true that women are being cheated out of 23% of their salaries, or that 1 in 5 will be victims of sexual assault. And it's also the case that in many critical domains, women are faring far better than men. Let's consider a few. Take education. There, it is women who are the privileged sex. At every level of education, from preschool to graduate school, and across ethnic and class lines, women get better grades, they win most of the honors and prizes, and they're far more likely to go to college. Today, women earn a majority of bachelor's degrees and advanced degrees. Our schools do a much better job educating women than men. Now look at the workplace. Gender warriors draw up lists of male advantages. They almost always mention men's freedom from fear of being attacked. Now, it's true that women are much more likely to be victims of rape and sexual assault, but men are more likely to be victims of violent crime as a whole. And consider campus crime. It's actually men who need safe spaces more than women, because according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, men are twice as likely to be victims of violent crime on campus. Look at the overall murder rate in our society. There were approximately 12,000 murder victims in 2013. 78% were men. And even on the internet, men face as much or more bullying than women. According to the Pew Research Center, more women than men are sexually harassed, but men are the primary targets of threats. And here are some more facts that challenge the male privilege mantra. Suicide, 78% male. Incarceration, 93% of federal inmates are male. And even when men and women commit the same crime and have similar criminal histories, men receive 63% longer prison sentences on average. Homelessness, it's estimated that about 60% of homeless individuals are male. Combat, 85% of active duty soldiers are men. And though there are many women serving in the armed services, fewer than 8% profess a desire to engage in combat. If you visit a veterans hospital or a rehabilitation center, male privilege is not the first idea that will come to your mind. And now for the mother of all gender gaps, life expectancy. Women's average life expectancy is nearly 5 years longer than men's. Men have to be the only oppressor class in history who are less educated, more victimized, and have shorter lives than those they oppress. They must be the only oppressor class who have claimed society's gritty, dangerous jobs as their exclusive preserve.
Also, let's touch on something I found interesting. This is a post from a female-to-male transsexual learning that being a guy sucks ass.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Struggling since I started passing as a man. I'm very quiet, thoughtful, and sort of emotionally sensitive trans guy who has been struggling since I started passing as a man. Welcome to the struggle. I always was scared to talk to people for fear of coming off as creepy or weird or predatory before I started passing, but now it's doubled. I'm horrified of being this image I see in my head of an autistic guy who tries to talk to people even though no one likes him. Chris Chan.
YouTube user 0ArchieBunker0, who was aware of Christian, happened to also be there and took photos and videos of him. During the event, he wore his now signature denim vest, along with a red t-shirt which apparently read, I enjoy vagina. Point. He pulled back his t-shirt to reveal his bare abdomen and sports bra on which "Want Woman" was written in permanent marker. This seemed to have been a simplified reimagining of his attraction sign from nearly a decade prior.
As a girl, I took for granted that people would think I'm okay or not creepy, no matter what I do. I'm very egalitarian, and I don't like the idea of men having to pursue women or men having to be more dominant. But I'm struggling realizing I'll literally be forever alone if I don't do these things. Yes, being female meant you could literally be passive through life and just wait for shit to come. Being a woman is like being on a boat to fish and the fish just jump in. And then you're like, I don't like this fish. I don't like that fish. This fish is fat. This fish is under 6 feet tall. As a man, you had to have a deep sea diving suit, a fishing boat, and a giant net to pull in one fish that had a couple of kids and a few crazy ex-boyfriends that have done time for murder. I feel like men only make it in the world if they're talented in some way. The fact that it took this person transitioning to a man to realize something that has been painfully evident since the dawn of time amazes me. Where if I stayed a girl, I wouldn't have to worry whether I did nothing because I would still be liked and appreciated. Yes! Go on Twitch. How many girls have you seen on there that have the personality of like a kiwi fruit that's rotting in the Australian sun? And you probably go, kiwis are native to New Zealand. Eat me. I don't regret starting testosterone at all because I feel way less dysphoric about how I look now. But at the same time, I have a horrible social anxiety, and it's just 5,000 times harder to live as a guy with social anxiety. Well, according to this woman, Lily, here, your idea that things are harder living as a man than a woman is wrong, and you're an incel. This one, the black pill, the system is broken. Conventionally attractive people succeed at life, and incels will suffer forever. Everyone will suffer. Either you lay down and rot or you turn to violence. Most people turn to TikTok. The system is broken and attractive people will succeed at life. Okay, boomer girl? You can't look me in the eye and say, okay, boomer girl is talented. She's not funny. She barely dances. Literally, her whole shtick is being cute and attractive and people wanting to have sex with her. Her whole brand is based off of one cute video. The girl is so devoid of ideas that literally a year after her OK Boomer dance, what did she do? She did a year in retrospective like DSP. But unlike DSP, at least Phil waited 10 years before he forced his fan base to watch him watch himself while he giggled at his own jokes. OK Boomer girl's like celebrating 1 year of OK Boomer because she had no ideas. The girl's never had to struggle at life. She's just started putting on makeup and she cakes it on like an old lady. She's in $1 million apartment and drives like an expensive BMW with the talent levels of a small child that obnoxiously dances on TikTok. And you want all of us to believe that the whole black pill idea is ridiculous and it doesn't exist. The Paul brothers have done nothing but fail upwards. They wouldn't exist if little girls didn't think they were hot on Vine. In fact, everyone that got big on Vine got a following because people thought they were fucking cute. Remember the Asian dude that used to do the cool gun videos on YouTube, but he was chubby and kind of unattractive? Where is he now? Nobody cares. Attractive people will succeed. That's why Jason Momoa plays Aquaman and not Michael Cera. I hope you enjoyed our look into boomers and feminists discovering memes and then believing they're all tied to incel extremist groups. Tune in next week when I'll tie a rope around my penis and jump from a tree. You probably want to grow up to be just like me.